Hi guys, I made the video, but I was driving, but it was shaking so much. I don't know if it's even usable. No, I'm gonna have to edit, so I'll do another video. Yeah. So what I was talking about? Uh, oh, hi. What I was talking about was a video that I saw, was it a few days ago, about this old guy. He's in his late 60s or 70s. No, sorry, maybe late 70s. He was talking about, as you get older, you become poorer, and it's true, isn't it? As you get older, you will become poorer. Initially, I thought, well, it doesn't make sense because as you get older, you need less. Like for example, I'm in my late 50s, and but also I've been an introvert for a long time, so I don't go out clubbing or I don't go out to restaurants. I don't spend much money. I don't like doing those things anyway. Like with my friend, I went and I got some chips at it was a Turkish fish and chip shop around where she lives. Well, not so close. So I got two large portions of chips and two pies. It cost 15 quid. And I thought, bloody hell! Like I don't know the prices nowadays because I haven't bought this stuff for ages. I thought 15 quid. How can it cost 15 quid for two large portions of chips and two steak and kidney pies? It blew me away. So I can imagine, like, if you go out to, I don't know, get some rice and duck or something, some basic thing like that in a Chinese restaurant, it'll probably cost you about 20 or 30 quid. Probably 20 quid. That's amazing, isn't it? No, more than that. I assume more than that. But I don't use a lot of money. I don't, what do I do? Uh, I just go to the supermarket and I do buy some organic food because I use it as a kind of insurance policy. Try to eat as healthy as possible, and so that's the best way to eat as healthy as possible and as cheaply as possible. If you have to go to a restaurant that cooks organic food dishes, it'll be really expensive. So, and even the organic food, I try to get it reduced as well. So, yeah. But what he was saying does make sense. Like, as soon as you buy a car, it depreciates and you lose money. And like, I was just thinking, for my situation, I don't have much of an income. That's why I'm on YouTube, and it's because sometimes that's all you can do. I've had these problems with social anxiety and health problems as well. People ask, oh, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? If they knew the problems I had, they'll say, oh, okay, that's why. I haven't worked for a boss for most of my life, and I don't think I ever will. I'm not that kind of person to work for someone, listen to what they say, and then telling me what to do. No, it's not going to happen. I know people will say, well, I've worked all my life. I don't care what you've done. The same way you don't care about me, I don't care about you. Well, not caring is the wrong word, but if you have no qualms putting me down, then what's the point in talking to you? I'm not going to put you down, but I've worked all my life. Yeah, so what? Good for you. I haven't, and I don't want to work. I'm not put on this earth to work for a boss, creating a product that I don't believe in, I don't agree with, just to feed my family. Yeah, it's a good thing to feed your family, me, I wouldn't want to do it. There could have been a situation where I had to do it, like most of us have to, and we kind of bury our heads in the sand, Like, where is this money going to? Is it funding something a bit, you don't care as long as you feed your family. People don't really care. And I know, I understand that. But yeah, going back to earning some money, I've tried to make some money selling some PDFs and audiobooks. I sold a few, not that many, but got money from donations, and so that's how I earn my money. And if people are thinking, is that how you earn your money? Go out and break your neck. You try doing a channel, you try creating PDFs, and you try making audiobooks, try setting up a website or whatever. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. It seems easy, but it's not. It's actually there's a paradox. It's the other way around. Say, for example, if you went out and chopped wood, that would be harder physical labor, but then it's hard work, but it's a simple kind of work. Boss gives you the money, and then you deal with your aches and pains. It's very simple, but it's hard work. Whereas working online, in a sense, is easier because you don't have to do the hard work, but you have to do the hard work here, and this creates stress, and you might not even get paid. Like, I worked for 6 years or 7 years online. I spent I invested about 50 grand or 60, 70 grand, between 50 and 70 grand, and made maybe 7 grand. Like, I made a loss, a massive loss. And the amount of hours I put in, the eye strain, the stress, not playing around, not playing around, not playing around, but meeting my friends, not taking my son to football and stuff like that because I was so busy. It cost me more than just money, but my relationship with my son. Because I wanted to make money, I in a way neglected him. I didn't mean to. I thought, oh, my son's always going to be here, but I need to make money. Sometimes I pushed him away. I was on the computer and he would say, Daddy, I want to go, I want to do this. I said, later, because I was so stressed out. And I realize this now. But it's still not too late. I can go and play football with him now. And he understands, he knows that I love him. But yeah, the things we do for money. I thought I was going to be this years ago. I thought, oh, I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to make loads of money online. Yeah. And that's the pull. That was the pull for me. But now I don't think like that. But even then, I thought about making money not for money's sake. That, like, oh yeah, the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. I never loved money. I only loved money, like money, or wanted to get money for what it can give me. It gives you choices. The choice of living where you want, not in some inner city like ghetto or slum. You can live in the countryside in a nice home. You can afford to feed your dogs, your pack. Why'd you have a pack in the first place? Yeah, I'm going to have to rewind and explain that story as well. But yeah, as you get older, you don't have the means, you don't have the resources anymore to make that money. Unless you've invested all your life, like bloody Warren Buffett or whatever. Yeah, so what do you think about that? As you get older, your energy declines, your funds decline. I was speaking to a person recently, and yeah, the person was saying to me about their about his family not coming to see him, and he's in his 80s, and it's because his daughters his daughters, or was it a son? Don't speak to him anymore because I think she said something like she was going to leave the money to, I don't know, to charity or something, and they kind of disowned the parents, sorry, the dad, because the mum passed away. So this guy basically says, you know, the guy could have done it as a kind of test to see if that daughter or son still loved them. Like, Dad, I still love you because you give your money to charity. That's your money, don't worry. I still love you. I'll come and see you. But no, because they put in the will that they were going to give the money to charity, they just like haven't spoken to them since. I think if the bloke saw that they still love them and help them, they can change the will, change their mind, and say, "No, I'm giving everything to my son. This shows that my son loves me. Sorry, my daughter loves me," and stuff like that. And I'm going through the same thing. Like with my daughter, she doesn't give a shit. My dad passed away, and she was eager to get the money that he promised her, and yeah, trying to get his death certificate in order to go to the bank to get his funds, but it didn't work. I think he changed the policy, and I was thinking, wonderful, Dad, fantastic. You nailed them before they nailed you. I was so happy about that. Because I don't like people being used. I hate that. So after he passed away, and they couldn't take his money. Yeah, and she hasn't contacted me since. You see, if I had the money, if I bought her a car, I bought her a house, if I had the money to buy those things, yeah, she would have been really happy with me. And that's what people are like, family are like. They love you for this, for the money that you can give them. It's sad, isn't it? So as you get older, you have less of this. You don't have the, as a woman, you have pulling power to get this. You have that sex appeal. You've got nice body, nice face, you're young, and you can pull wealth towards you. I know women won't like this, but it's true. Um, but as a man, what do you have? As you get older, you should have more money, right? Nope. Not all of us. So we're declining, our energy is declining, money is declining, health is declining. So no woman's going to look at you unless she's got money herself and feels sorry for you, maybe. Or there is that love, but that love is, I don't know. I've never found it, I've never, even if that love exists, is it sustainable? Sometimes I think no woman would want to be with me, so I give up because I'm not easy to be around. Now you see me talking, I'm speaking in a nice way. I'm quite kind. I'm quite maybe relatable. But there might be times when I just want to laze about. I don't want to do anything. My brain is really tired. Sometimes I'm really excited, especially in the mornings. Some, I'm not the kind of person that likes to go out. A woman is very social. Let's go out. I want to go out. Don't want to be stuck indoors all the time. And you get different types of women, don't you? Some that like to, shall we say, be intimate, and some that don't. And as you get older, that intimacy, I mean, the will is still there, but the willy doesn't care. Just thought about that. No, but the will is there, but the jade stalk doesn't respond, or responds, less. That could be because of heart disease. The arteries start to narrow, and the small capillaries in the nether regions, they narrow as well, and so you can't get these you know what I mean. You have things like ED, erectile dysfunction. So, but having erectile dysfunction sometimes is a warning sign to heart disease. So you have to take it seriously. Some people say, "Oh, go on the carnivore diet. Will increase testosterone and will clear the arteries." The vegans will say, "No. If you eat more meat, then the arteries, cholesterol will clog the arteries." That's what I was trying to say. And so it makes it worse. So you need to clear cholesterol. So go on a gay vegan diet. I love the gay vegan diet. If I can go on it, I would. Like the last few days, I've been trying to eat more veggies because I think I'm eating too much meat. I'm on a hyper carnivore diet. And it tends to fix the bloody allergies. That's, in by nature, I'm not a great meat eater. By nature, in my own nature, in my own preference is to eat a tiny amount once a week and eat vegetables, beans, bread, pasta, whatever. But that completely screws me up. Completely screws me up. I'll start sneezing. Like this morning, I started sneezing, rubbing my eyes. Eyes were red, nose leaking. Why? Because I had a packet of crisps yesterday. And it's not as if the crisps had like milk or anything. I look at the back, the bold letters for allergies. It was ready salted crisps, Tesco's ones, the ridged ones. Are quite nice actually. So what do they have? Salt, potato, and sunflower oil. Now sunflower oil raises inflammation because it's a seed oil. So maybe that's it. What else did I have? Did I have some veggies, some bread, and beans on toast. The beans can affect your, not colon, can affect your small intestine, and give you problems. But especially after you've been eating just meat, or mainly meat for a few days, because your microbiome has to adjust the community of bacteria that you have in your small intestine have to readjust, because there's a die-off. So if you eat meat for a few days or a week or whatever, all the vegetable-eating bacteria are culled and they die off, and so the meat-eating bacteria, cadaverine, putrescine, all those strange sounding bacteria, they increase, because they increase dependent on the dietary demands. But then if you say, "Oh, I'm going to eat vegetables again, I'm going to eat a packet of crisps, I'm going to eat beans," then you've got all these meat-eating bacteria and not enough of these. So then you create a different demand. You eat veggies, and these ones have to get culled, and these ones have to grow again. So yeah, maybe it's a good thing that these are culled, and then they're made to grow, and then these are culled, these are made to grow. I don't know if it's a good thing. They talk about microbiome diversity, the diversity of food, lots of different kinds of vegetables and fruits or whatever, equals diversity of your microbiome, or the bacteria that grow inside the small intestine. Yeah, but because I've got problems with histamine, I've got problems with small intestinal fungal overgrowth, or at least I had. I don't know if I have it now, but I think I do, because when I test myself, I do have it. So if I have some grapes, then the grapes, that sugar, that the grapes have, not the fructose, but also there's something, is it tartaric acid or something like that, is used up by the fungus, and that's how they can test to see if your tartaric acid or something is higher than normal. Then you've got fungal overgrowth in your small intestine. Yeah, anyway, sorry. This talk was about how, oh my god, it's really hot in here. How as you age, you know, you get poorer and poorer and poorer. So I was just thinking about this. I was thinking, oh god. I was thinking, once I sell the house and I buy myself a small place, then crazy guy. He's telling to people, hurry up, on his bike. I'm thinking, okay, let's say I've got, what are my expenses for the year? Say, for example, council tax. You know, I calculate council tax, and you know, electricity or fuel that I need to heat the house. Insurance, will I insure the place or not? Probably. If I build my own hut, I won't insure it. So you need to factor in all these expenses. So if you have a house, you have expenses for the house. If you're a person, you have these expenses. If you have dogs, you have these expenses. And if you have a car or a vehicle, you have these expenses. Each of these require maintenance. So you have to set aside maintenance for yourself, your body, or whatever, you know, miscellaneous you can call it. Maintenance for the house, maintenance for the car, maintenance or kind of vet bills for the dogs, okay? You have to put aside fuel for this body, fuel for the house, fuel for the car, and fuel for the dogs, or food. You have to set aside all these things. So I thought, how much money will I need? So let's say it's 15,000 or comfortably 20,000 a year, right? I'm thinking, if I can get 100 grand, I'll be able to live for 5 years without worrying. But then what happens after those 5 years is up? I can't live like that anymore. So within 5 years, I have to try and find a way to earn money, to earn 20 grand a year. 20 grand a year isn't a lot, but it's a lot when you don't have it. So that's why I'm thinking of, you know, trying to make money this way. And of course, you're going to have to pay tax, but you only pay tax after 12,700 quid. So you can easily make 20 grand. So the first 12,700, 500 is clear. So if you make 20 grand, you're only paying about, I don't know, 2 grand or something tax. So it doesn't take much to earn 20 grand. But you have to work at it, you know. So that's what I'm saying. As you get older, you know, I don't have a pension, a private pension. And when I get to, is it 67? That's when I'll have a pension. And it's around 150 or 200 pounds, something like that, the state pension. But I was worried because I never paid into any, because I didn't work for like 40 years. So if you don't work for 40 years, you don't pay into the system. So you don't pay into the pool, you don't pay your national insurance contributions. And I didn't even claim dole for 40 years. So I claimed dole for maybe about 5 years out of 40 years. That's for all the people saying, yeah, I paid my tax for you. No, you didn't. Not for me. You paid tax for the people coming in now on boats, being put in hotels, getting paid like driving lessons, a mobile phone. No, you didn't pay for me. And also I paid tax when I had businesses that failed. I'd actually paid tax. So yeah, so going back to, as you age, what can you do to stop your financial decline? That's a really important thing to think about. And so, as I keep talking about my system, you know, part of, I was talking about before and I made I started to make a separate channel called the Mastering Life Plan, because, to be honest, what I really wanted it for, what I was really thinking about was immortality and longevity, or life extension. And that's not acceptable really to people. People won't accept it. They're not really into that kind of stuff, or they think you're crazy if you think of extending your life, radical life extension, like 200 years, 400 years, 800 years, if that's even possible. But yeah, so now I'm thinking of just telling the truth, and just people who want to have a look at the channel, they can have a look. And people who are like-minded, who think about longevity or life extension or even immortality, can come to the channel and kind of feel at home. Because it's difficult, if you have that idea of extreme longevity, it's kind of out of the ordinary. It's not. It's a rare thing, and you will be ridiculed. Like if you're trans or transsexual, I don't know what it's called, transsexual, you're accepted. If you're gay, you're accepted. If you have certain views, you're accepted. And like a few hundred years ago, like even like 50, like 100 years ago, even in some countries, that's not acceptable. It's actually against the law. But in our very open Western society, you talk about immortality or radical life extension, like living to 200 years, 400 years. You get ridiculed by everyone, not just a few people. But just say that I feel like a chicken today. No one's really going to ridicule you. No one's going to say anything. I feel like a woman today, and you can't stop me. You can't, which is fine. If somebody feels like they're a man, and they feel like they're a woman, fine, okay. You feel, you do you feel that way. I'm not going to bully you. But if you say, I want to live 100 years, or 100 years because somebody has achieved that, but if I want to live 200 years, no, that's thinking out of the box. Sorry, human beings, it says in the Bible you can only live 120 years, right? So anyway, that's what I'm doing, and that's my niche area. But going back to the idea of transcendence, the reason why you'd want to transcend, or you want to live long enough, is to find the elixir of life, or find something that can extend your life. Now, I think there was somebody talking about, oh yeah, you have to, one of my subscribers, you have to have knowledge of biochemistry and stuff like that. That's if you think the answer is in biochemistry. If you think the answer is in chemistry, if you think the answer is in stem cell technology, yes, then you have to study those things. But what if it isn't? If the answer isn't there? If the answer is closer than you think? So, well, I'm not going to... Me not having the knowledge in certain areas isn't going to stop me from trying. And I do have knowledge in certain areas that I'm not going to talk about. But, yeah. So, as you get older, you have to be careful, because your money is going to diminish, and then you'll be okay. The state can look after you. You get older, and then they'll put you into some inner city ghetto, in a flat or in a room somewhere, you know, and you be seen by by a carer or someone who people who don't really care about you. Carers, yeah. No, some of them are really good, but yeah, some of them aren't. So it's like potluck, and yeah, you can get your house burgled and or your room or whatever it is, and you can live a really stressful life, full of anxiety, not knowing when crime is going to knock on your door or death is going to knock on your door. That's a horrible way to live. Or even in a care home where people don't really care. I mean, the carers care, that it's their job to care, but they're not. The system is all wrong. They give you like terrible food, they fill you with drugs. The environment is dead, absolutely dead. It's not alive. You know, when I went to see my dad, I wanted to take him out because he was in a wheelchair, and they didn't allow me to take my dad out. I said, I just want to take him to the fish and chip shop. She said, why can't you? We've got a lovely garden here. I said, no, I want to take him to the fish and chip shop where he can see children, we can see other people. Well, I'm sorry, we can't allow it. And I thought, wow, I felt so impotent. I couldn't take my dad out. I cried, I'll be honest. I can't take my dad out of that place where there's just old people. It's all how are you today, Mr. Fury? How are you? And then when you leave, they treat them in a different way. There were times where I used to go, they'd never even cut his hair. They asked for a shaver to cut his hair. They didn't cut his hair. There are times when they wanted me to give him money to put in his purse, in his wallet, £50, like every few weeks. I said, what was it for? It's for the hairdresser. The hairdresser comes round. Because in times of COVID, the hairdresser used to come round, initially, I think. And to pay for the hairdresser, right? And then after that, then the hairdresser thing finished. Then they wanted a shaver so they can shave him. And there was a period of about 3 or 4 weeks I couldn't go because of COVID and everything. You had to make an appointment. I went there. His hair was all growing out here, and I thought, why? What? What do you pay for? You give them all the equipment. You give them the money.